Hey, this is Steve with Dabble Lab, and in this video, I'm going to introduce the Dabble Lab Autopilot plugin for the Twilio CLI. This is a new project that we've been working on for the Twilio CLI, which was released recently this year at the Twilio conference. And basically, the Twilio CLI lets you work with all of the Twilio backend APIs right from the command line. So it's super cool, super robust. And one of the things that we really like about it at Dabble Lab is that you can extend it with plugins, supports plugins. And so that is what we did. We built a plugin for working with Autopilot bots. Last year, we built a CLI for Autopilot that is now the official Twilio Autopilot CLI. And the reason that we're building the plugin for the Twilio CLI is because the functionality in the Autopilot CLI and the Twilio CLI is there's some functionality in the Autopilot CLI that isn't in the Twilio CLI and vice versa. And so we thought maybe we could build a plugin to give you just one CLI to work with to do everything, and it also lets us do some things that we really wanted to do that weren't options prior to the release of the Twilio CLI. So now you can do things like deploying Twilio functions from the command line, and so we're going to add functionality to this plugin that lets you deploy an entire Autopilot bot with the back end and the front end right from the command line. So that's not done yet, but I'll give you sort of a preview of what we have so far, and then I'll post updates as we add functionality. So for starters, you're going to need a Twilio account and the Twilio CLI. If you don't have a Twilio account already, you can go to dabble.link/Twilio, so dabble.link/Twilio, and that link will let you sign up for a free Twilio account and give you some free credits that you can use for development. Once you have a Twilio account and the Twilio CLI installed, and I'm not going to go through installing the Twilio CLI, it's pretty straightforward. It's an NPM package, and so you can install it globally. And it's cross-platform because it's an NPM package, so it works with Mac, Windows, and Linux. But you want to go to twilio.com/docs/Twilio CLI for the details on that, and I'll leave a link to that in the notes. And with that, let's dive into it. So once you have the Twilio CLI installed, you can just type Twilio at the command line, and you should get a list of the available commands, like a help response, this here. And this one command down here, the profiles command, is what we're going to use to install the Autopilot plugin. So we're going to go Twilio and then plugins, and then install like that. And then the plugin is Dabble Lab, and then /plugin - Autopilot. Gosh, can't type today. And this is the NPM package that we built, that is the plugin. So once you install that, just say yes here. Once you install that, then you can run the Twilio command one more time, and we should see a new command in the list, the Autopilot command, which is the command that is being added by the plugin. So we'll let that finish up. And now if we just type Twilio again, we will see now we have this Autopilot command, and this is the command that was added by the plugin again. And it lets you create, update, delete, list, simulate, import, export, a bunch of stuff. And these are, right now, this is all functional parity with the Autopilot CLI. So basically, we're just pulling the Autopilot CLI functionality into the Twilio CLI functionality, but we're going to extend it also. Let me show you a couple of things. So you can go Twilio and then Autopilot to see a list of the commands that the plugin added, the autopilot specific commands. And most of this, some of this stuff you can actually do with the API command, and I think API autopilot. Yeah, so part of the functionality is, oh gosh, assistance. Okay, so here is some of the commands that are available natively by the Twilio CLI, but let's see. Some of what's in the Autopilot CLI is important, like being able to export an assistant to a schema file that you can modify and import, also using templates. So let me show you a couple of things that the plugin adds that aren't in the default functions of the Twilio CLI. So we'll start by creating a new bot. So if we do Twilio Autopilot create, you can pick from a list of templates that are available. So this is functionality that exists in the Autopilot CLI, but not the Twilio CLI. That's probably making this confusing. But we'll just pick the Hello World template here. And one of the things that we're really interested in doing is we're working on some additional Autopilot bot templates and a Autopilot project format that will allow us to share in a GitHub repo a complete Autopilot bot where you could deploy the front end and the back end from the CLI. So you could deploy Twilio functions for the back end and all of the Autopilot stuff for the front end. So now our bot was created, our Hello World bot here, and created this folder. And this schema file defines all of the tasks and things that are going to be part of the bot. So I'm not getting into, in this video, how to work with Autopilot. I've got some other tutorials on that, so kind of making some assumptions that maybe you've dabbled a bit with Autopilot. But we'll go out to the Twilio web console just to take a look. So if you log into the Twilio web console and go to Autopilot, we should see our new bot that we just created out here. And go to your bots. And this is part of why I like working from the command line. So avoid slow internet days. Okay, here we go. So this is our Autopilot bot that we just created using the Autopilot plugin. And so you can see the tasks were created, and all of these are defined in the schema file. So if you go in here, our tasks are in here, and so there's our fallback task, our goodbye task, our greeting tasks, and we could modify these tasks or add tasks, remove tasks, and then use the update command to push those changes out, and you'd see those reflected in the web console if you did that. Let me show you one of my favorite commands. It's actually a pretty simple one, but I like it. Actually, I'll show you list first because I'm going to need something here. So if you do Twilio Autopilot list, this will list all of the bots, aka assistants that you have created. And this SID here is a unique identifier for each one of the bots, which is important because the next command that I'm going to show you is Autopilot delete. And then -s, and then the SID. And actually, let me remove this so I can show you something. If you don't enter the command right, it'll tell you what you need. So the reason I'm showing you this delete command is because right now there's not a way to delete a bot from the web console. You can delete a bot from the Twilio CLI, but you have to delete each one of the dependencies individually. So you have to go through and like delete the task, and if the task has samples, you would need to delete the samples, and it's kind of a long process. What's nice about that is that you won't accidentally delete the whole thing. But we've added here an option to delete the entire bot. And so this goes through and recursively just deletes everything. And so let me show you. -S and our SID. And again, you know, we could have added an option to like just select from a drop down the bot that you wanted to delete, but we thought that would potentially make it really easy to make a mistake. So the way that we have it right now is you need to copy and paste the SID. And so you're like explicitly saying, this is the bot that I want to delete, because once you do that, it is going to delete everything. What you might want to consider doing before deleting is there's an export option here that will export the schema and everything so that you can use that as like a backup before you delete. And I didn't show you the simulate command, but you can use that to test the bot. But the delete here, if I go back out now and take a look, our bot should be gone. So loading. There we go. Yeah, so our bot is gone. So that's it. Like I said, just a really quick intro. This is still very much a work in progress, but I thought I would put the first release out there for comments, thoughts, and suggestions. If you have any of those, please let me know. We're definitely looking for feedback, and hopefully this is useful. If you did find it useful and/or you would like to see some things added, again, let me know, and I will post updates as we make changes. Thanks so much.